During her appearance at the Pro-Am golf event at the Annika on Wednesday, Caitlin Clark shared her thoughts on the Indiana Fever's upcoming season. The 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year made it clear that she and the team, now coached by Stephanie White, are aiming higher next year. "Our goal last year was to reach the playoffs, and we accomplished that, but now we want to be championship contenders," Clark told reporters. "I think we're putting the pieces together to make that happen, hopefully adding some free agents. You can feel the excitement throughout the organization, the city, and our fans. I can't wait to get back out there. Honestly, I wish we had a game tomorrow." Clark's comments reflect her enthusiasm for a new campaign amid a transformative period for the Fever. The franchise has brought in a new president, Kelly Krauskopf, and general manager, Amber Cox, while welcoming back White as head coach. White returns to Indiana after a successful 2-year stint leading the Connecticut Sun. Speaking about White with ESPN, Clark recently described her as a legend in Indiana. "Playing against her, I always felt her teams had the best scouting reports on us. That speaks to her knowledge of the game and analytical skills. Clearly, she was on the right track. Hopefully, now that she knows how to challenge us, she can help us overcome similar obstacles." Coached by Christy Sides last season, the Fever ended a playoff drought dating back to 2016. Though they lost to White's Sun in the first round, the campaign was still a success, bolstered by talents such as Aaliyah Boston, the #1 pick in 2023, and Lexie Hull. According to multiple reports, the new 3v3 basketball league, Unrivaled, which spans 8 weeks starting in January, has made a Lionel Messi-like offer to Clark to join. However, the guard appears content to take some time for herself and decompress after her first WNBA season. That doesn't mean Clark isn't working on her game during the break. "Besides the actual basketball skill part of it, I think getting stronger is my focus," she said when asked about her off-season goals. "I'm spending a lot of time in the weight room, just building that strength." Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark was officially named the WNBA's Rookie of the Year on Thursday, an award she said she was honored to receive. "I am incredibly honored to be named Rookie of the Year, but more than that, I am grateful to everyone that supported me throughout this past season, my family and friends, my teammates, the Fever organization and everyone that cheered us on all season," she said in a statement. "I am so proud of what we accomplished and so excited for what the future holds." Clark earned 66 of the 67 votes for the award, with the lone holdout going to the Chicago Sky's double-double dynamo, Angel Reese. The 22-year-old was brilliant in her debut season for the Fever, averaging 19.2 points, 8.4 assists and 5.7 rebounds per game, leading the team to the postseason. She also set a number of records. She became the first WNBA rookie to ever post a triple-double. She had 19 assists during a July 17 matchup against the Dallas Wings, another league record. She set the WNBA's single-season record for assists and rookie records for single-season scoring and three-pointers. Clark has quickly emerged as one of the most popular figures in any sport and backed up the immense hype she received coming out of Iowa after setting an astonishing number of records during her college career. Perhaps more impressive, a Fever team that went just 13-27 last season was 20-20 this year and made the postseason, though they were swept in the first round of the WNBA playoffs by the Connecticut Sun. The Atlanta Dream decided to part ways with head coach Tanisha Wright in October after 3 seasons. Despite making the 2024 WNBA playoffs, the Dream finished the season with a 15-25 record and were eliminated in the first round by the New York Liberty, who went on to win the title. Atlanta's general manager and executive vice president, Dan Padaver, had his sights set on becoming a top team in the WNBA. On Wednesday, the Dream announced they'd found the right head coach to make that a reality, Carl Smesco. Carl Smesco is a proven leader with a history of developing his players and creating a winning culture, Padaver said in a press release on WNBA.com. His fast-paced, innovative style of play will be attractive to our players and fans alike. "We are excited to have Carl bring his incredible basketball IQ to the Dream. Smesco is humbled and honored to have the opportunity to coach the Dream. I'm thankful to the leadership of the Atlanta Dream for their faith in me to lead this organization into the future, and can't wait to get started," Smesco said. Smesco, 54, was hired after 23 years at Florida Gulf Coast University, where he led the Eagles to 10 NCAA tournament appearances and captured 14 regular season titles. He held the third highest winning percentage among active NCAA Division I coaches at .843 and has 672 career collegiate wins across all levels. Smesco is also grateful for his time spent coaching in Fort Myers. "I am grateful for a remarkable 23 years at FGCU and will be forever indebted to the amazing women who have played for me, the incredible professionals who have coached with me, and the passionate fan base who supported us along the way," he added. Smesco now takes over a team led by Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, and Tina Charles. On Tuesday afternoon, WNBA superstar Caitlin Clark spoke at the Women's Leadership Conference ahead of the LPGA's The Annika Pro-Am tournament. During the conversation, she admitted her parents tossed her into sports to get her energy out and, while she ultimately stuck with basketball, she loved everything from track to golf. "I grew up playing literally everything, and my parents just kind of tossed me out there and wanted me to get my energy out, whether it was soccer, softball, golf, track, I really did it all. Then when I got into high school, I knew basketball was my future," she said. "And I loved it. I wanted to practice, I think that is what was different. I wanted to get better at it, I wanted to spend time working on my game. That was probably what set that apart from all the other sports that I played, just kind of for fun with my friends. I was really competitive about it, but I didn't take extra time out of my day to go and work on my game and want to be better than everybody else. I think that's what kind of helped me figure out the path that I wanted to take." Fast forward 24 hours and Clark teed it up at the Even this morning, but not before sharing a special moment with LPGA superstar Nelly Korda. In a moment that has become customary after games, Clark and Korda exchanged jerseys ahead of the event. The Indiana Fever star handed over her number 22 jersey, while Korda handed over her caddy bibs with her last name adorned. One of the most crucial components to the Indiana Fever's success in the 2024 WNBA season was Kelsey Mitchell. Mitchell, who has been with the Fever since being drafted by them in 2018, complemented rookie guard Caitlin Clark perfectly in 2024, and they formed perhaps the most lethal guard duo in all of women's basketball during the second half of the season. However, Mitchell is set to become an unrestricted free agent once WNBA free agency begins in February 2025. While fans are looking for any indication that Mitchell is keen to re-sign with Indiana, the two-time WNBA All-Star made it clear on Wednesday that she's uncertain what her future holds. Although Fever President of Basketball and Business Operations Kelly Krauskopf made it clear that she wants Mitchell back during her appearance on a November 13th episode of the Locked on Women's Basketball podcast with Howard Megdal. "I think honestly, most players who were unrestricted free agents are most likely looking at one-year deals," Krauskopf said. "So that's not unusual, and it certainly doesn't change our opinion of how important Kelsey is, and how important she is to returning to this team. She's our number one priority," Krauskopf added of Mitchell. "Yes, we have the opportunity to core her. And it would be sort of irresponsible for me if we didn't utilize that opportunity." This isn't the first time that members of the Fever's front office have made it clear that bringing Mitchell back is their top priority. And it's a sentiment we'll likely hear more of as the free agency period approaches. Indiana Fever guard Kelsey Mitchell wrote a column in which she opened up about the ups and downs of her 2024 WNBA season, including her teammate Caitlin Clark. Indiana Fever guard Kelsey Mitchell wrote a column for the Players Tribune in which she opened up about the ups and downs of her 2024 WNBA season, including the painful loss of her father, Mark Mitchell, in March, as well as hateful comments from fans. Despite the challenges, she also had heartfelt words for her newest teammate, Caitlin Clark. "And I have so much respect for Caitlin, especially, and how she handled it as a youngin'," Mitchell wrote. "I hope we did a good job of being there for you, too, see, heart emoji. I gave her flowers early in the game because the eyes she brought shined a light on all of us, too." At another point in her letter, Mitchell addressed how the attention from new fans was one of the craziest parts of the season. "We obviously had a new spotlight on us, with Caitlin being drafted, who I'm proud to call a teammate. That was exciting in its own way, with the fans it brought to the arena and the opportunity it gave our squad. But I think, in a weird way, the outside noise kind of made people forget sometimes that we're still human. Mitchell, 28, has spent her entire 7-year WNBA career with the Indiana Fever. This year, she enjoyed one of her best seasons, averaging 19.2 points per game and earning All-Star honors for a second consecutive year. She finished the season with 767 points, just behind Caitlin Clark's 769. However, Mitchell also revealed she is uncertain about her next steps. The point guard, who recently began playing overseas for the Shanxi Flame, admitted she doesn't know what her next season will look like as she enters her free agency period. "And it's hard to know what the future holds," Mitchell wrote. "I'll be honest, I don't know what colors I'll be wearing next year, which just makes me cherish the season and our group even more." Mitchell has previously explained that her family will play a significant role in her decision-making process, particularly after the tragic loss of her father. "Obviously, I've always had a home in Indy, so it could potentially be a home for me again, but I think right now, the switching dynamic of my family and everything, I gotta do what's best for me. That's not hanging my hat on one team or another, but I think it's specifically for me. I got to be selfish about that process." In the Players Tribune, she wrote, "You don't expect your dad to die at 56. That sent a shock through our whole family and everyone that knew him. It hurt more than I could ever put into words. Pain and trauma makes you look at life a little different. I didn't know what would happen next, if I was going to play this season. How I was supposed to play this season." However, given her strong relationship with her teammates, it's likely Mitchell will consider staying in Indiana. The Fever can also protect her by designating her as a core player, which is similar to the NFL's franchise tag. WNBA teams can core one unrestricted free agent per offseason, but a player can only be cored for a maximum of 2 seasons. Since Mitchell agreed to an extension in 2021, she has yet to be cored. Indiana Fever superstar Kelsey Mitchell suffered a tremendous loss when her father died suddenly in March. Mitchell thus had her career-best WNBA season while playing with a heavy heart, something she wasn't shy about expressing during the year. Mitchell honored her dad in a message to the home crowd in Indianapolis on Father's Day and through an outfit she wore featuring his image 6 months after he passed. She continued to keep his memory alive by penning him a touching tribute in a Players Tribune piece released Wednesday. Mitchell recounted all the extra attention that women's basketball received this past season, but also admitted how hard it was for her since it was the first year she played without her father there to support her. However, Kelsey also touched on the uncertainty surrounding her Fever future as well. Mitchell will be a free agent for the first time in her career after spending her first 7 seasons in Indiana, and she clearly wants to make the most of the opportunity. Mitchell wrote, "I'll be honest, I don't know what colors I'll be wearing next year, which just makes me cherish the season and our group even more. I've never been through free agency, so I'm looking forward to the opportunity to explore that for the first time in my career and have a say in my future as a basketball player." She also looked back on some of the less favorable things about the Fever season in the spotlight in the piece. "I'll be honest, the spectacle was unsettling sometimes. Some of the newer fans have been really hateful online to the incredible women in our league, and to me and our Fever players as well." That while expressing she is proud to call Caitlin Clark a teammate and thanking those she dubbed real fans, both old and new. Said fans had hoped Mitchell's appearance with Clark at a recent NBA game and the birthday wishes she received from the Fever's new GM were a positive omen about her future with the team. The Fever have also made it clear keeping her together in the backcourt with Clark is the team's top priority in the offseason. However, it isn't certain what uniform Mitchell will take the floor in next season. Though it will certainly be a story to follow until her WNBA future is officially decided. Indiana Fever guard Kelsey Mitchell has announced she will indeed test free agency this offseason. "I've never been through free agency, so I'm looking forward to the opportunity to explore that for the first time in my career and have a say in my future as a basketball player," Mitchell wrote in an essay for the Players Tribune. The news comes 1 week after the franchise announced Stephanie White will be the team's coach in 2025. Several times throughout the season, Mitchell has expressed her desire to test free agency for the first time since being drafted 2nd overall by Indiana in 2018. "It's definitely an emotions and thoughts that flow through my mind," Mitchell said on September 27 during media exit interviews. Obviously, I've always had a home in Indy, and it could potentially be a home for me again, but I've got to be selfish about the process. Mitchell, alongside Rookie of the Year Caitlin Clark, was one half of the hottest WNBA backcourt coming out of the All-Star and Olympic break. Both Clark and Mitchell were among the top 4 three-point shooters in the league, with Clark leading the pack, 122 three-pointers made. On the back end of the 2024 season, Indiana tallied a .643 winning percentage despite a 1-8.111 start to the season. Even before their late rise in the standings, the Fever were the hot ticket everywhere they went this season. "That's kind of one of the craziest things about our season," Mitchell said. "We obviously had a new spotlight on us, with Caitlin being drafted, who I'm proud to call a teammate." The Fever set a single-season attendance record of 340,715, surpassing New York's record of 250,565 set in 2001 over 16 games. However, the sellouts and media attention came at a cost, and at a time where Mitchell and others in the organizations were uniquely vulnerable. In her essay, Mitchell also wrote about grieving the unexpected death of her father throughout the season. It is one of the main reasons the two-time All-Star plans to take her time and consider what is best for her this offseason. "This was one of the hardest seasons I've ever been through, in basketball and in life. Because for the first time, I had to learn how to do it without my dad," Mitchell said. "There were games that I cried in the locker room before tip-off. But you wouldn't have known. I wasn't letting people see me like that. That was exciting in its own way, with the fans it brought to the arena, and the opportunity it gave our squad. But I think, in a weird way, the outside noise kind of made people forget sometimes that we're still human, if that makes sense. The microscope got smaller and smaller, and I don't think anybody was really thinking about the fact that my dad just died, or Katie Lou's a mom trying to figure out motherhood and being a WNBA pro all-in-one. We all had real things we were going through." Mitchell also addressed the toxic and often racist vitriol that too often accompanied the increased attention. "The spectacle was unsettling sometimes. Some of the newer fans have been really hateful online to the incredible women in our league, and to me and our Fever players as well," Mitchell said. "Sometimes it was hard to see who was really in it for the love of the game and who wasn't. It took away the purity for me. I shouldn't even have to say this, but our team doesn't condone any racism, sexism, homophobia, or hate against any group. That has no place in our fan base. Period." Despite the new reality her grief and the growth of the league brought, Mitchell and the Fever stayed together through it all. They showed, once again, there is a promising young core in Indianapolis. And with the front office changes and the return of White at the helm, the expectation is this will be the core that gets the Fever back to the WNBA Finals. "None of the chaos seeped into our locker room. We really held each other down. So our 11, who were professional, competitive, and selfless through it all, I wouldn't trade them for the world," Mitchell said. "I have so much respect for Caitlin, especially, and how she handled it as a youngin'. I hope we did a good job of being there for you, too. See, I gave her flowers early in the game because the eyes she brought shined a light on all of us, too."